Hi, I'm Joe Rice. Welcome to Vietnam. On August 15, I was a teacher at a private high school in Orange County, California, making $80,000 a year. On August 16, I sent an email to my head of school telling him the 4 weeks I spent with dying orphans in Ho Chi Minh City made it impossible for me to continue much longer with my teaching. On November 24, 100 days later, I sit here and launch the website for Run with Joe from a cafe in Saigon. The website is a work in progress. I have no background in nor knowledge of web design. The many mistakes here are mine and mine alone. I now know many things about websites in general and mine in particular. I know that my website loads almost twice as slowly in Amsterdam as in America. I am not sure why I know this, or what I should do with such knowledge. As much as I want to improve load time for the people of Amsterdam, it's not at the top of my list. Okay, it's not anywhere on my list. But one of my hopes is that one day my website will load as quickly for the people of Amsterdam as for others throughout the world. When it comes to understanding the web and my website, I'll borrow words of Samuel Beckett's. It's all I can manage, more than I could. There are many posts and photographs on the blog that tell my story and the story of Run with Joe. This video piece is more of an informal hello. If I look slightly uncomfortable, that's progress, because I assure you, I am more than slightly uncomfortable. I do not like the spotlight. I am more than happy to remain off stage. I probably have a touch of agoraphobia, maybe more than a touch. I crave solitude. Yet here I sit, launching the website for Run with Joe. Here I sit in a city of 7 million plus people, all of whom ride motorbikes. Since my return to Ho Chi Minh City on September 15, I have learned 3 things. 1, it's hard to remain off stage when you create a non-profit website that includes your name. 2, it's hard to stay in the shadows when you post a video blog on YouTube. And 3, Saigon has taught me that solitude has nothing to do with the absence of people. One of my best days in Orange County was the day I left all the people behind. I took my stand-up paddleboard down to Dana Point Harbor and paddled for an hour straight to the horizon, 3 or 4 miles out to sea. The only thing that stopped my paddling that day was the sudden surfacing of a whale 150 yards away. To this day, I can still hear the sound of its breathing, still see the water shooting from its blowhole, still see and even feel that beautiful fluke rising out of and falling back into the water in slow motion majesty. I almost fell over. My legs were shaking so, less with fright than with sheer awe. For the next 45 minutes I paddled after that whale, trying to anticipate where she would surface next after she dove to feed for another 8 to 10 minutes. Before long, I was faced with the 2 questions we all must face at some point in our lives. Do I follow the whale out to sea, paddling through night and day, never to see sight of shore nor people again? Or do I paddle back to shore and share the story of this encounter with my once-upon-a-time stepdaughter? Not a tough choice. I paddled back wildly for shore so I could share the story with the girl who has my heart. She will always win the day. Solitude, whales, hearts drawn in the sand at Salt Creek Beach. Every once-upon-a-time story is simply the human desire to keep solitude at bay. Which brings us to picture number 1, Joe and Bay. Bay is a 12-year-old girl at Govop Orphanage. Her life is measured out by the dimensions of her crib, which is her home. She cannot walk, she cannot talk. Her life is one continuous contortion of limbs accompanied by a near constant grimace upon her face. But Bai loves to laugh. How she loves to laugh. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know I'm coming back, huh?
Give me my fingers back.
It was hearing the sound of Bay's laughter that finally led to my resigning from both my job and my life back in the States. Bai is one of the reasons I decided to cast aside the life I knew for a life of creating relationships, opportunities, and laughter for children who need more of all three. The picture of Bai was taken on Halloween. A couple of her caregivers thought she might like to visit the Halloween party my friends and I were having for the other children. Bai loved it. The second picture goes back 40 years, June 8, 1972. I was a 10-year-old boy running barefoot through the backyards of Fort Mitchell, Kentucky, yelling, "No school, no school." June 8, 1972, Kim Fook was a 9-year-old girl running barefoot and naked down a road near Trang Bang, her flesh on fire from a napalm bomb that had inadvertently been dumped on her and other villagers by a South Vietnamese plane. All Kim could do was run and yell, "Nong Qua, Nong Qua, too hot, too hot." I remember seeing the photograph when it hit the newspapers the next day. Once you see the picture, it is hard to forget it. A few people have asked me if I am in Vietnam because of American guilt. When the last American helicopters left Saigon in 1975, I was 13 years old. My influence on American foreign policy in 1975 was negligible. I was too busy falling in love with the next girl that smiled at me. My being in Vietnam for 2013 has nothing to do with the guilt, and everything to do with the suffering that occurred in this country. Too many lives and families and hopes and dreams, too much innocence died here, Vietnamese and American. I'm in Vietnam because a 9-year-old girl had to endure too much of that suffering. The website tells more of the story of Run with Joe, our mission, our promise that 100% of your donations go directly to the orphans and orphanages we work with, the run across Vietnam that I will do beginning on September 15 of next year, and our plans for future years, Cambodia 2014, Sudan 2015, and Israel and Palestine in 2016. If you have any money you want to donate, great. Better still is your donation of time, whether volunteering with Run with Joe, some other organization, or maybe you are creating your own organization, finding your own way. Be the change. Inspire us. Inspiration is the fuel that keeps us running. Each month I will send out a newsletter letting subscribers know what new things are happening with Run with Joe and the orphans and orphanages we work with. I will be blogging, both text and video. Better still, there will be music from some of the bands that are working with us. To keep up with all of this, go to the bottom of this page and subscribe. Rest easy. Neither your name or your email address will ever be shared with anyone. If you walk to the end of Dong Quai Street, you find yourself facing the Saigon River. It's not the Pacific Ocean, but neither is the Pacific the Saigon. Both are quite lovely. I have given up any hope of spotting a whale in the Saigon. But yeah, I dream of finding a stand-up board and paddling out onto the Saigon River. And maybe before I leave Vietnam a year from now, it will happen. If we are not paddling toward our dreams, we are wasting everyone's time, including ours. Thanks again for visiting the website. Peace and love from Saigon. Hi, Mom. What are you doing? What are you doing? You know I'm coming back, huh?
Give me my fingers back.